Good morning, afternoon, evening, world.
Hello there. How are you?
We are, I'm fantastic. I don't know about the other gentleman on the line.
Very good. Have you had a shave this morning? Because I know you were looking rough a couple of weeks ago. You said to me that you hadn't had a chance to shave and look the part. So I was just a bit concerned. Go on.
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Very good.
Yeah. We're good to go.
Have you waxed?
I have waxed.
Nice.
I have waxed.
Nice. Now I found an easy way of doing my bum for waxing. You can get the big pads on the edge of your bed. You know when you're half asleep in the morning, you can't get up, and you're thinking, God, and you're staggering to get up. What you do is you sit on one of these at the end of the bed. Don't even stand up yet. Just sit on it. Put your feet down on a cold floor, and that'll wake you up. And all of a sudden, you jump up, and the whole lot comes off in one go. Silverback on the bed. Trust me, works a treat.
Oh, my gosh. What a way to start this amazing Valentine's Day special, Dave. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you for that. I am here with, three gentlemen, Dave, Zachariah, and Jonathan, and we are going to talk about love and Valentine's Day and hearts and all those smushy gushy and things and everything in between. And I have to say I'm a little nervous because I'm the only chick, but I think I can kind of hold my own. So I'm hoping that, so let me just go back a little bit. When I realized, but Valentine's Day is like the celebration of love. February is like about love, and I'm all about that. That's my favorite word. That's my saying. It begins and ends with love. And I think it was about 6 weeks ago, maybe even further back, I was like, I want to do a Valentine's special, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else but these two people. So both of you have been on my show before, but I want to go back and introduce you a little bit and have you tell people why you're with me today. So, Zachariah, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, the whole reason that these two gentlemen are with us today is because we all have heart in our practice names. I'm Wholehearted Life. Zachariah is Heartbeat Strength, and Jonathan is Engage the Heart. So, Zachariah, tell us about Heartbeat Strength a little bit.
Yeah, so Heartbeat Strength is a lifestyle and leadership coaching platform that I've created where I meet people where they are, and which I think is the first step in any relationship and any loving relationship is just meet people where they are and say, I love you where you're at, and I love who you're becoming. I can see who you're becoming. And so I help people do that, whether that's with content and blog posts or on my social media platforms or videos or speaking at events or engagements. I'm actually launching an online course with Heartbeat Strength in 2 weeks. So basically what I'm trying to do is just create content and resources and experiences for people to live and lead with purpose. And I think, with all the heart that they have in the world, with all the purpose that they have in the world.
Oh, that's so awesome. And for anyone who didn't get to hear, Zachariah was one of my first guests on the show, and it was the most phenomenal experience that I've had alongside Jonathan, darling. So Jonathan has Engage the Heart, and can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Engage the Heart, Jonathan?
Yeah. And first off, I've got to say that this is really cool because I'm a big fanboy of both of you, Chris, and Zach, and everything you guys are doing, and I'm just trying to get on you guys' level because y'all are awesome. And so Engage the Heart is something that I came up with, and it's a motivational / leadership speaking platform, and that's basically what I run everything out of. And for me, when it came very similar to Zachariah, when it came to looking at leadership, I realized that for a lot of leaders and a lot of people, the heart was missing in the activities and the things that they were doing and how they were connecting with and lifting other people up. And so when I thought about when it comes to leadership and the message that I wanted to send, does that look like? And so if you look at the definition of engage, it's to occupy, attract, or involve. And when you do that, and then you look at, someone putting their whole heart into something, it is putting their feelings, their emotions, all their energy, all their passion, all their purpose, and going after what they believe and what they want most in this world. And so for me, it was kind of that I want to be able to occupy, attract, and involve people's hearts in leadership and how they interact with people and lift them up and care about them on a day-to-day basis. And that is kind of how it all started, and that's kind of the mission behind Engage the Heart.
That's good.
Yeah, see how perfect this is, the three of us. And then, of course, Dave, you're with us today, and it wouldn't be complete without you because we're going to talk about love and gushy things. So,
I
know.
Well, I'm sick of kissing mirrors. That's what does my head in. There's nothing worse than kissing a mirror.
You're so good looking, Dave.
Well, the thing is, mate, I look like I've been set fire to and put out with a baseball bat. But the thing is, many a mirror has said to me, what on earth are you doing looking at me for?
Oh, my gosh. There's so many things, challenging with that conversation that you just had with us. So, Dave, I know that...
The other thing I was going to tell you, I'm a qualified model now, which a lot of people don't know about. Yes, a model. But I'm qualified in modelling socks. So it's going well at the moment. It's going well. I can, I can backcomb my hair on the top of my toes now, which is nice. We always get some nice photographs of that.
I don't even know what to say to that.
It's feet that the world can love, but a face only a mother can love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, that's quote of the day, that is. Get that in there. Just let me write that down. Where's a pen? Hold on. I'm going to sell that on eBay. Quote of the year, that. Anyone that's ugly, there's a future, trust me. If I can do it, then anyone can.
Oh, my God. So, Dave, what song do you have on tap for our first song that I've sort of requested today?
I don't know. It was some jungle rap that you wanted on, wasn't it?
Well, it is a
do you want a bit of Frank Sinatra? You want a bit of Frank?
Yes,
boom,
thank you.
Boom, 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 boom. See, I can do the start of it. The middle, I can't.
Yeah.
You got Bob over me doing. But the start of it, I can do that. No worries.
Frank.
Oh, I'm there.
Oh, my gosh.
Quality song.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that. I just said quality song. That was all I was going to say to you. Lovely choice of song this morning. I'm on the ball with you this morning. I thought you had a great choice of songs. When I went through your song choice, I thought Eminem's not going to go down well, but the rest.
That would have been funny if we would have put something like totally rogue in there. That would have been hilarious. So yeah. So one of the things that I did today, and this is where we can start sort of our talking about so basically we've all, Jonathan, I, and Zachariah, we are all married, and we're all in relationships in various stages. And so, and there's that whole he said, she said thing. And one of the things that I did today was I picked a bunch of songs, and I didn't even ask you about if they were cool. So I don't know. So Zachariah has been married for like a year-ish, and Jonathan's been married about 9 years, and I'm the old lady of the crew, and I've been married for 20. So we thought it'd be awesome to sort of go through, how Zachariah, in your opinion, talk about, how we love and care for another person.
Man. I'm new to the club, so I got married in June of 2018, so I haven't even been married a year yet, but before then, me and my wife, we met in college. We started dating when we were in grad school, and we dated for 4 years before we tied the knot last summer. And I think it all, like you said, it begins and ends with love, but man, love is such this esoteric thing and this word that people have a hard time defining. I think, honestly, to me, every day I wake up, if I'm on it, I'm asking myself, how can I show up and serve her? And I think that's the easiest way for me to put love into action is by asking myself that question, because the attraction isn't a question. The fact that I want to spend the rest of my life with her isn't a question. Now it's about putting feet to the pavement and making some progress with some intentional action. So me waking up every day and just saying, man, how can I best show up and serve her? How can I outserve her today? How can we have that competition day in and day out where it's like this selfless mentality with everything that we do?
I love that.
And we do not hit it 100% of the time. I mean, but that's the mindset that we're trying to take into it. And I think that's the mindset that we have to have is, man, how can we create love? Isn't an adverb. It's not an adjective. It's not this thing that we just say. It's an action word.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So good.
Yes. I can't even follow that, Jonathan. I don't envy you.
Well, it's funny, just listening to him talk, and I think, whether you were going to ask me the same question or not, I'm going to give you an interesting answer, because I think my wife probably exemplifies, like, love and leadership and, like, what I believe it is more than anything else. And I think my wife probably gives me the best example of how to love and what that looks like. Because I remember when we met and when we started dating over 10 years ago now, being married just 9 years ago as of January 30th, that she loved me despite of me. And she loved me despite of my mistakes. She loved me before I was, this driven person. She saw this greatness in me and this potential in me that even at that point I didn't see in myself. And I think one of the greatest things that she does to exemplify love, not only to me, but to my daughters, is just the way that she encourages us, the way that she lifts us up, the way that she believes in us. I mean, she has believed in me before I ever believed in myself. And that was part of what made me fall in love with her, was this view and this way that she saw me. And I think that when you look at, the people you're in a relationship with and all those things, it's, to Zachariah's point, love isn't a feeling, because feelings come and go and feelings fade. Love is an action, and how you live out loving and caring and lifting up and building into others every single day is what love really looks like and what it really is. And I think I'm always learning from my wife a little bit more about how I can do it better. And she's a great example of what Zachariah described.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And for me, in listening to both of you talk, I feel like there's a part of me that, had to learn over time that my husband John really wants the best for me and wants to make me happy. And sometimes in doing so, it didn't, in that moment and over time, like some of the actions, like keeping me safe and all these things, like I didn't understand why that was happening until I really sort of had to take a look back and go, oh, I think, your spouse really does want the best for you. They really do want you to be happy, and they want to support you in every possible way that they can. And I think for me, love is relatively easy. And I think for me to share, there were times, of course, in life where it's not, but, in every situation. But I think sometimes for, the masculine energy, it's a little bit harder to share at times, depending on what's going on in other areas of life. So I completely appreciate what both of you have said about caring and loving for your spouse in a marriage or a relationship, a romantic situation. And there's so much more beyond that. So I want to take a quick break and come back and keep rolling about other relationships and anything else that comes up. So we're going to go and listen to one of my ultimate favorite songs. Of course, I didn't ask you guys about it. So we're going to talk about Etta James, At Last, and we'll be back.
You're listening to Expat Radio, your worldwide friend.
You don't make him like that anymore, do they?
No. Oh, my gosh. He just gets my heart.
Oh, you're filling up. You're filling up.
Oh,
you're not crying, are you?
My heart. No, not this morning.
I am.
Too excited and too, wound up by coffee because I was up until midnight. For some reason, I could not sleep last night. Probably because I'm so excited to be on here today with everyone. Oh, my gosh. So, I've alluded to the fact that I didn't ask these two fine gentlemen about this music that I was going to play today. And I want to ask Jonathan, how vital is communication in a marriage?
Oh, how
did I just set you up?
Jonathan, if you value your marriage, just be careful what you come out with for an answer with this one, pal, for Christ's sake.
Let me tell you guys a story. It's interesting. I talk to people a lot about this, and actually just did a speaking engagement where this actually came up, and I used this example saying, if you were dating someone or you were in a relationship with someone and they never shared their feelings and how they truly felt with you, and you never shared how you truly felt and your feelings with them and what you were going through and what was going on, how solid would that relationship be? And I was using it to show, the equivalence between leaders and people communicating with other people. And and everybody was like, oh, well, you wouldn't have a relationship. And I said, exactly. And I think from a communication standpoint, it's absolutely vital. And sometimes it's one of the scariest things that we can do in not only a relationship with our spouse, but just in relationship with other people. Because a lot of times when we are truly sharing our emotions and communicating and being open and honest, there's a little bit of vulnerability that comes into it. And that vulnerability is scary because we fear losing love and we fear rejection, that we won't be heard, that will upset the person because maybe we're sharing something hard. But, when I look at 9 years of being married, the biggest struggles my wife and I have had over 9 years, and I think we have an incredible marriage, but the challenges that we have had is when we have not openly and honestly communicated where we're at, how we're feeling, what's bothering us that the other person is doing. And there are sometimes her and I have talked about needing to, be able to sit down and reconnect and have almost like a check-in with each other to kind of say, kind of check the temperature of where we're at. Like, do we feel connected? Do we feel separated? If we do, what's going on there? So that you can lay it all out on the table to start working on. And, I tell people a lot, you can't impact what you don't track. Right. And if you're not tracking where you are in your marriage, how you're communicating, how open and honest you're being, how you're making your partner feel, how they're making you feel, the challenges that you're having with each other, you're never going to be able to impact those to make them better. And I think communication and the willingness to communicate, is the utmost important thing that you need in a successful relationship, like romantic relationship or friendship or business relationship. Communication's the number one thing.
Right. Yes, I 100% agree with that. And I'm interested in Zachariah being in a newly married. Like, do you feel like it's easier or harder, or to have some of those sit down challenging conversations sometimes?
Yeah, I think when you guys were talking about communication, it's like, man, communication creates clarity. So it's like when we clearly communicate with each other, like we know we're on the same page, and there's this thing of like this gap between expectations and reality, right? It's like my expectations are here, reality's here. That gap creates frustration, creates arguments, creates the unideal situations. And if either one, I didn't communicate clearly what the expectation was, or have the conversation about lowering that expectation, then I'm going to live in this constant state of frustration. And so being able to have those conversations, sometimes me and Molly, my wife, we're arguing about something, and it's something like a little small, a little petty, and we're like, man, what are we really arguing about? Like, what's the big thing that we didn't talk about, that we didn't really communicate, the expectation not met, like that started this feeling to argue about if the dishes were clean or dirty, like
right.
What was the root cause? So I think again, it's communicating clearly those expectations and either keeping those, lowering those, and then taking action to meet those expectations, but putting it all out on the table.
Yeah, I think you call them expectations, and I kind of call them rules, and they're my own rules, right? And
you would call them rules.
Of course I would.
You dictator, you.
I know. So I call them
rules.
Hold
on, back up. You have rules. You have rules in that house of yours.
Well, they're not like rules for John. They're rules for me and my own rules or expectations.
John's sat there nodding now at this time in the morning going, yeah, you've come out with the right answer there, girl. Because just before then, he was thinking, she's going out in the snow tonight. Big time.
Oh, my gosh. So, yes, I call them rules, and they're my own rules, and they're really my expectations. And here's the thing. A lot of times, and I'm just going to speak from my point of view. I'm not going to speak from anybody else's point of view. I don't necessarily share my rules. I want you to sort of guess them, or you should just know them, right? So
what? We have
exactly.
to guess. We have to guess your rules.
Sometimes, and I don't realize that I don't share them. And so what I've been able to do over the last 20, because John and I have been together for 25 years, is figure out what my rules are and then be able to share them with him, and then also realize that he has rules, and sometimes he doesn't always share them with me, and I'm guessing the same way, but you can pick up on those things when you're having like a discussion or an argument and something didn't go the way his rule or his expectation was. I can go, oh, that's a rule he has, and then 9 times out of 10 I forget until like the 15th time that I hear this rule or experience this rule.
Lads,
so it is.
Lads, just let me tell you, marriage life could be good. So don't worry about if you're taking this on board, where this is going.
It's great, man.
25 years of that. Hey?
I was going to say, Christine, it's so funny, too, because, I would say my wife's name is Daring, and Daring and I go through the same thing. And what I've had to learn to do is, like, when she says, hey, the XYZ needs to be done, or like, hey, can you help me with XYZ? And what a lot of people don't take the time to do is to ask the question of what the expectation is. And so I've learned to go, okay, so you want the dishes done, or need help with the dishes and need help with, like, maybe the girls getting a bath tonight, my daughters. And I'll ask, so the dishes, do you want those done now, or is it okay if I wait a little bit?
Duh.
But because it used to get me in trouble because I never asked and I just do it on my schedule. And that's, I think it's so true. You bring up the rules because we all have these expectations of what we want. And sometimes we don't communicate them clearly, but I also think there's some ownership that needs to be taken by the other person going, okay, let me make sure I understand what the expectation is and ask, and maybe you can, head it off at the pass, I guess.
Yeah, I think so often we confuse communication with just talking. I think really good communication comes from really good question asking as well.
Yeah.
And then on the other end of that is listening really well, and then responding really well. Really, communication starts with question asking. So being able to do that, it's a great point, John.
That's awesome.
I tell you what, the main word that I've used in relationships in the past is agree. As long as you agree, you'll never get your face slapped around.
Unless that's what you're agreeing to get.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's it. You've got to, it's a bit of give and take, isn't it? Do you want to smash me face in love? Yeah, give it 5 minutes and then we can calm down. But if you want to say, what I've done, I've always said, right, if you agree to disagree, happy days. But you've never got stuff hanging in the air that's going to fester, and you just agree on most things, and then other things you just go, right, well, we don't agree on that, but we've agreed to disagree. And then you've not got problems hanging around all day long. Dead easy. Any marriage counselling, come to me. I'll sort it out, don't worry.
Yeah. If you agree to disagree, most times people hold on to that, and you really do disagree.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this conversation is awesome. Let's go to a quick song and we'll come back and talk more about other relationships and some takeaway tips and how to follow all of us again. And we're going to go out with another one of my favorites. Of course, all of these are my favorites. Nat King Cole's Love.
Before we play this, I've just thought, right, what did they do in China? What did they do for a Valentine's Day card? Because I can't imagine straight writing looking romantic or anything like that, can you? Could you just come out with what... You've just come out with a takeaway, something about a takeaway, and all of a sudden China came into my head, and I'm thinking, what's it like over there on Valentine's Day?
Now we know how your mind works, Dave. See, that's like a tip that I'm picking up on.
I know, but it's like, Huang dong dang yang yang wang yang. I mean, what's going on there?
Oh, God.
Can't look good on a card, can it? Oh, I wonder what Chinese looks like written in Chinese, I love you, on a Valentine's card. If you can find it on Google, have a look for it now while we go to a song.
All right. Aww.
Right. I'm going to try and have a pronunciation of that.
Oh, my gosh.
If I could read Chinese.
Wu I Ni. It says.
Wu I Ni.
Yeah.
Ryan Hartley comes through for everyone, every day, all the time. Quality man.
Yeah, we got to say morning to Ryan this morning, or afternoon even.
Yes.
Morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Ryan.
Morning,
We
brother.
love you. Oh my gosh. So, this conversation went by so quick this morning, and we were just talking offline. Like, we have so much more to talk about, and I know that 15 minutes isn't going to get us where we need to go. So, of course, Dave, we wanted to keep extending your show for another couple hours, and we know we can't do that.
I've just realised, actually, that the Wu I Ni, if you're in bed with a Chinese... Well, if a Chinese couple were in bed together and they were saying Wu I Ni to one another, when you're having a kiss and a cuddle, that could come out very much like, I've forgotten the ironing. And you'd end up very confused, wouldn't you? Wu I Ni. And then it just sounds like something... something that's gone in the wrong place, doesn't it? Well, it doesn't sound right, does it?
When I thought that this morning couldn't get any better, it just did.
Oh, God, you don't see many of that on a Love Chinese program. Whiny, get in there.
Oh, my God.
Oh. We've got to come up with we'll have a love program about how to say I love you in every destination around the world that you can come up Swahili, Brazilian, all these weird places that you can think of, these Amazonian jungle tribes, what they'd say to one another. I mean, it'd be hysterical, wouldn't it, if you rang him up, whiny. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would love to know what how you say I love you in lots of different languages. I'm going to do that and put that out there for the world today. So if you are listening and you know how to say I love you in a foreign language, email Dave. Dave, what's the email?
expatradio.fr@gmail.com. We've got Brunei on at the moment. We've got 116 countries tuned in at the moment. One of them is Brunei. So if Yul Brynner is listening in, we want to know how you say I love you in, what would you call the language? Brunese, is it?
I don't know. I have no idea. So, yeah, anyone who can say I love you in a foreign language, email it to Dave. That would be awesome. And so I had some other topics to sort of come up today, but it didn't happen because of time. So I'm hoping that each one of us can send our listeners away with a couple of top tips to take away, not Chinese food, for relationships in general and romantic relationships, whatever you guys choose. So Jonathan, what top couple of tips would you give people today?
Well, there are two things really, and one is going back to kind of what Dave was saying before we went to break, and the thought of agreement. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have, not only in romantic relationships, but just in relationships and in the world, that we want everybody to agree with us. We want people to agree with our point of view. We want people to believe what we believe. And when we don't agree with each other, it becomes this big, massive fight in this horrible thing. And it's okay to not agree with your spouse's or your friends or your coworkers' point of view. It is perfectly fine to not agree with what they think, what they believe, but it's how you respect how they feel, what they believe, what they think, and how you respond to it that matters more than the agreement. And so I would say, don't try to focus on agreeing with everyone or having everyone agree with you, but focus on empathy and understanding and how to respect and respond in a way that reflects empathy and understanding when there is a disagreement in the room. And the other thing that I would say is, a lot of times we talk about relationships and people say, oh, relationships, like it's 50-50 because 50-50 equals 100. And if you're only putting 50% into your relationship or 50% into your marriage or 50% into anything, you're leaving so much on the table. And a true, honest relationship and a loving, caring relationship, it should be 100% and 100% given by both parties. You can't give 110 because we can only give 100. But if you're not giving 100% to your relationship, to being the best that you can be, to lifting them up, to loving, to care for them, to serve them, and you're not doing everything in your power to do that on a daily basis, you're leaving a lot on the table for that relationship and potentially leaving a lot of challenges on the road in that relationship. And so I would say, don't worry about agreeing, worry about empathy and understanding, and always give 100% to your relationship.
Nice. I'm going to completely piggyback on that too, because I think I've talked about this before here on the show and many other places. The 100-100 is another rule that I have for myself, and that's really giving 100% of me to my relationship, because I feel like if you're giving, like you said, if you're giving 50% of your relationship, you're pretty much bartering for love and connection. If you do this, I'll do that. If you, wash the dishes, I'll do. I mean, that kind of happens, but if you really are in it, it's 100-100. And if you give 100%, the other person more likely will give 100% and not even really know it. If they're not in that space, they can see you and you can be an example. So I'm with you there. So, Zachariah, any thoughts from you?
Man, I think, one of the greatest things that we were told about, was the 5 love languages and understanding what our individual love languages are. So if you guys don't know the 5 love languages, it's like words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and then like physical touch. And so like understanding what your partner's love language is super important, because that's what they're kind of expecting. That's how they feel love. That's how they are expecting to be communicated with that way. And it's also an argument. It's also how you usually like tear people down, or you like use that against people too. So it's like mine is quality time. So like, man, I could care less really about gifts or anything else besides that. That's like my number one thing. So it's like, that's what I'm really looking for, to feel loved. if I'm spending quality time. So that was a huge tip, is like, man, explore the 5 love languages. What are yours? What are your partners? And then the other thing, I would just say, keep dating. Like, that was the other huge tip that we got, was like, just because we got married, we tied the knot, I'm wearing a ring on my finger now, we went to the honeymoon, we came back, it doesn't mean we stopped dating. Like, continue to date, continue to set goals for yourself, honestly. And what we did this year was, like, we set dating goals. We were like, all right, we're going to have every month we're going to go try a new restaurant. Every month we're going to go on a double date. We're going to have 40 no cell phone dates this year. And, like, so we just got, like, crystal clear on, like, the kind of relationship that we wanted to create from the product of, like, continuing to date, continuing to stay in that mindset there. So those would be my 2 tips, kind of takeaway tips from me.
That's awesome. And so the whole, restaurant, try a new restaurant, that will certainly help alleviate the, hey, what do you want to eat tonight? I don't know. What do you want to eat tonight? I don't know. What do you want to eat tonight?
Right.
There was a point in time where John and I had like a mug or something. We put a whole bunch of restaurants on sticky papers and folded them up, and we would pick. And that lasted for about maybe 2 weeks. And then we're like, no, I don't want to do that one. Let's pick another one. No, I don't want to. So it's like, this is not working. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. I'm definitely going to take
do a cookery
that
course.
tip.
Pair of you do a cookery course together. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That would be fun. That would be really fun. I think my one takeaway tip is checking your ego a little bit and setting that aside sometimes, because we always feel like we want to be right and we want to, give our all, and we want to feel heard and we want to feel loved and we want to do that. And sometimes when we don't, we can't express that, and sometimes our ego gets in the way, and we can kind of not be our authentic self. It just sort of kicks in out of fear of, rejection, fear of losing someone, fear of not feeling loved, all those big, huge things. So I think for me, it's really checking my ego at times.
I don't think you've got one. I don't know if the lads agree, but I don't think you have an ego.
I can.
Can you?
I can certainly have one. Oh,
right,
yes.
well, we're back off
John,
then, lads. Lads, just back off a minute while she's gone.
John would be like, yeah, she can have one. She can certainly have one. And I check it a lot. Like, over the last few years, I've been able to sort of listen to that person inside of me, that ego, and to kind of check her a little bit, because sometimes she can be a little snotty. So, yeah, definitely have that. Yeah.
Good.
So we got some I love yous in foreign languages, and I can't pronounce any of them. So
can you?
Thank you. I can't. Ti amo, I know.
Ti amo, yeah.
I don't know.
Have a go at the Russian one. Have a go at the Russian one. Go on. You've got to see. You got to have a blast at that one.
Yeah. No. Nope.
He's basically a bone in your leg as well, by the sounds of it.
Tibia.
Yes.
All the Russian people now that are listening in are going, what are they saying?
Who is that Southern Tennessee boy trying to speak Russian?
Yeah, go on, have a go. So it's Ya Liu Bliu Tibia. Ya Liu Bliu. That sounds great. That'll sound quality in bed, that one, won't it? That'll sound like a rodeo ride. Ya Liu Bliu Tibia. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So really quick, Jonathan, what's your social media so people can find you? Zachariah, what's your social media?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at @JonathanDarling. You can also check me out on my website, jonathandarling.net, and then Facebook is under Engage the Heart. Just look for the big bald head.
Awesome, Zachariah.
Yeah, I do a lot of posting on Instagram. I'm trying to post once or twice a day. You guys can follow me there at Zachariah.Thompson. And then my website is www.heartbeatstrength.com. And I would love to have you guys on there and join that community and let me know what you think about the content rolling out.
Awesome. And you can reach me at Facebook is Christine Saunders. Instagram is at Follow Your Whole Heart. And then my website is followyourwholeheart.com. So I can't thank you guys enough for coming today. I think that, we'll definitely have you back on and do some more shows. We were talking about that at break and, doing some sort of maybe monthly sort of gig. So I'm putting it out there for the world to hear. So like I said, I'm not teasing. So we have literally seconds. Dave, anything Valentine that you want to share before we part?
Yes, well, I was going to say, have you sent me chocolates?
They're in the mail.
Now,
they probably melted.
No. That wasn't the answer you were supposed to give me. It can't have melted in February. You can't have melted chocolates, can you?
Well,
it's not going to be.
I don't know.
What
answer do you want me to give you? Well, you tell me. I agree.
I don't know. But I'm just thinking, there's no way in a month of Sundays I'm going to have a box of melted chocolates turning up in February. It'd be like a breeze block turning up on my front doorstep.
Yeah, well, it was 8 yesterday morning here, so it was a little chilly, and I know in Ohio it hasn't been warm either.
Yeah.
So.
Well, unless the postwoman or postman's hands are red hot, wherever they've been, I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we don't want to know sometimes.
No.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, thank you all for this awesome Valentine's special. I'm so excited that you guys were here with me today. I can't thank you enough for getting up early. Thanks, Dave, for having us. And we're going to go out with Barry Gibb. We're going to just keep going with Rosemary's theme. Barry Gibb, How Deep Is Your Love, for our last song.
See you, chaps.
Love it.
Have a brilliant
Bye.
Valentine's
Thanks, guys.
Day. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, bye.
See y'all. Cheers.